Welcome back, welcome back. If this is your first time finding my channel, the name is in the intro. Who am I? I'm Unc L. You call me Unc for short. Why? Because I'm old as hell and I'm somebody's uncle. And I'm that uncle that tells you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Rest in peace, Pops, as usual. Today I'm making part 2 to a video I made a couple months ago. And basically the title is Why Men Don't Approach Any Women for Any Reason. This particular video focuses on the way women communicate with men. And I think you just watch and you'll see what I mean. Without further ado, let's get into the content.
For the briefcase and the mic.
Okay.
All right. You got
You
it.
didn't. Woman? Oh.
All right.
Definitely.
Exhibit A. From the outset, that young lady did everything she could to passively, aggressively insult and disrespect that man.
Damn right!
First off, by calling him her little brother. They're the same age for one, he said that, and he's a foot taller than her. A foot taller. If he really turned up on her, he could grab her by the ankles, flip her upside down, and push her across the floor on her chin like a wheelbarrow. That's neither here nor there. She called out his so-called fake flower. Okay, so he wanted to add a splash of color and a splash of something different to his lapel. What was the purpose of insulting that? But just to have something to insult. Said his briefcase was fake. She don't know where that man just came from. He could have just got out the Uber before he got to this little show or whatever. He could have just came from work, and he may have had important documents that he just couldn't leave laying around willy-nilly. So he's got his property in his hand. Didn't have a conversation to ascertain that. Then she demeaned his vocabulary. She said that his vocabulary wasn't up to snuff. His day-to-day vocabulary wasn't up to snuff, even though from what I see, they haven't had a complete conversation. She didn't even know he had a bachelor's. She didn't know he was educated. Yet she felt confident enough to demean the way he speaks without having a single conversation. And then when he called her out on it, told her how she was throwing shade, what she say? I'm not throwing any shade. I'm not throwing any shade. Go back and watch the clip. Exhibit A, ladies.
What you do is you call women on their bullshit, and what's the first thing to come out of their mouth? Shame, insults, guilt, the need to be right. Sign language.
This is why y'all don't get approached, and this is why we don't talk to you. It is awful interacting with y'all. This ain't all of you, but oh God, this is how most of y'all communicate, and the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Let's continue.
Saying.
First off, after your divorce, did you get any therapy?
Yes.
All right. Why did you and your first husband divorce?
Whew. We were
Who
not.
filed for divorce?
Um.
Who filed for divorce?
It was a.
Let me run that back for you.
Mutual decision.
Who filed for divorce?
It was mutual.
Who filed for divorce? Who filed for divorce? Who filed for divorce?
I can't necessarily.
Who filed
answer
for
that
divorce?
question. I did.
Thank you. It's not a very hard question. You filed for divorce.
Well, in that
You filed for
marriage,
ma'am. You just filed for divorce. That's all I'm
Okay,
asking.
but tell
You
me if
filed,
you think
no,
I
ma'am.
was
You
wrong
filed for
to file
divorce.
for
You
divorce.
filed for divorce.
I
You
married
filed.
a
You
man that
filed for
didn't
the.
have a job.
You filed for the. You picked him. This you can't make this shit up, people.
Exhibit B. Do you see how many times he had to ask that woman? If you counted them, it was 7. He had to ask that woman the same question 7 times before she finally stopped ignoring the question and answered it directly. This is how y'all communicate. When you ask a woman a question and y'all are in some type of discussion, it may be adversarial, so somebody's trying to prove a point. If the question you ask a woman will prove your point, she will not answer that question directly. She'll think of the answer in her head, file it away, and then answer a question that has either has nothing to do with what you ask, or moves the goalpost and hope you don't realize that she's moved the goalpost. He had to ask her the same thing 7 times just to get a straight answer. This is what it's like communicating with y'all ladies. Exhibit B. It's just, man, you ladies do not understand how hard you make it. We can't get, y'all are supposed to be the master communicators, but we can't get a straight answer out of you from a simple question.
He's got a point.
But men don't approach us. Why don't men talk to us? Why won't they talk to us? Whew. Exhibit B. Let's continue.
If men are making the majority of the rules and they're at the top of the hierarchy, what would you call that?
Imbalanced.
Would you call it a patriarchy?
I would call it imbalanced.
It wouldn't be called a patriarchy?
Not in my book. It would call.
If it's imbalanced and men are at the
imbalanced.
top of that balance. So if it's imbalanced, we have a seesaw here. And when this side goes down, that's women here. And this side is men because it's imbalanced.
It's
so
not-
men are up here.
it's not
Do we
black
have a
and
word?
white.
Do we have a word that would describe this phenomenon of men up here and women here? What would you call that?
An imbalance.
Yeah, I know it's an
That's
imbalance, but
the-
is there another word? Is
That's
there
it.
another word you can use besides imbalance that would
Whacked.
reference the men that were here?
Whacked.
A seesaw.
Whacked. A delusion. I don't know. There's lots of.
Could the word patriarchy be used for
I
that?
think that's just your favorite word, so of course use it for you. But for
I'm
me,
sorry. I want to figure out your word. If there's an imbalance,
I just
I
told
wanted
you a
to
few
reference an
words.
imbalance of power where men were at the
Imbalance.
top of a hierarchy, would patriarchy describe that phenomenon perfectly?
No, not for
Oh,
me.
what word would?
Not well for you, yes, but not for me. For me,
Yeah,
it's
well,
just-
for you, what word would?
Yeah, well, equality.
You're so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
there was
Equality from who? Who do you
It's
want to
not-
be equal?
It's not about being equal with a man. It's about a woman and a man coming together and sharing.
And being equal?
No, both having the rights to make decisions.
So being equal with men?
It's not about an equal.
So if men have all the rights and women have no rights and you want to be equal, who do you want to be equal with?
Exhibit C, bullet point 1. They're having a semantic argument about the word patriarchy, basically. They're having a disagreement in definitions. And the reason they're having a disagreement in the definition and defining this term is because she quickly saw that he was right. But her need to be right was so overwhelming that she's gonna argue for 5 or 6 minutes about the definition of the word that he's using, patriarchy. Yet every time she goes to describe what she means, she's describing patriarchy. This is Exhibit C of why men don't waste their time trying to communicate with y'all anymore. It's just, why don't men approach us? Because it's just, we ain't got time for this. We ain't got time for the headache, ladies. It's much easier to sit at the house and play Call of Duty and watch Netflix or go to the bar by ourselves and have a couple drinks and have something to eat, or go out with the fellas and shoot some pool and kick it without... y'all just make it too hard, and it's just not worth the effort.
I want both of them to have rights to make decisions.
Yeah, so men are here, let's say. And
Men are everywhere, thank God. I know, you love that word. So you have patriotic ideas and thoughts and words.
it's
in your
not patriotic.
vocabulary.
Listen,
And I
let's try
have a
again.
different-
Let's try again. Let's try
I
again.
have a different way of
If
describing
women are being oppressed, women being the monolith of all women, There's only two sets of human beings, women and men. That's all that exists. Women, men. If women, all women are being oppressed, who are they being oppressed by?
Oh, there's not just men and women. There's
Really?
everything
What's
in
the
between.
really? There's other. What are they? Are they the Lafludians? Who the fuck are the third? If there's not just men and women, who
I
are
guess
they? Are
you
they the
don't
Greys?
get out
Are they
much.
the reptilians?
No, there's transgenders.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Transgenders aren't men or women?
They're a mix
They're a mix of men and
both
women.
sexes.
Oh.
So thank
do
God
you-
they came together.
Exhibit C, bullet point 2. You see how far these chicks go to with their incessant need to be right? And they can't figure out why they don't have boyfriends, why they don't get asked out on dates, why dudes don't talk to them, why all they can get is Netflix and chill. No self-awareness at all. Let's continue.
So you think that women were fighting for their rights against transgenders?
No, it's not.
Who are they
women-
fighting for their rights against?
It's not against anyone. They just
Oh, it
wanted
wasn't
their
against
own
anyone.
rights. And you being a man, maybe you can't understand that concept.
If you use shame as a tactic to get your way, you may be low value. If you're often insulting to get your way, or to shut people up or shut people down, you may be low value.
That a woman wants to make her own decision about giving birth, about her
Yeah,
own
I
decision.
agree.
About
So if women want to make their own
voting.
decision about giving birth, and there's another group who aren't women who say, no, you can't, what would you classify that group as if you had to give them a name?
Sick.
Oh my God.
You wouldn't classify them as being men?
Not all men are biased against women having rights. So there's a lot of men.
Great. So then women never fought for their rights against men. Got it. Who did they fight for their rights against? Was it other women? Were women out there with ARs and they were like,
Yes.
fucking bitch, you can't have no rights? Is that what happened? Like, tell me how this
actually
went.
are women who don't want women to have their own rights. So
Yeah, do you think that feminism was an attack against women for oppressing women? Or do you think
It's
it was
not an
them pushing
attack.
back against men because men were at the top of the hierarchy? Like, which
no,
one do you think is true?
It's not an attack. It's women speaking up for themselves and saying we'd like to have our rights to vote. We'd like to have our rights to make decisions.
Yeah, so women, being all women, are speaking up because they want their rights. Who are they speaking up to?
The world.
Oh, the world.
My goodness.
The saddest thing about that clip is you can see all the ladies around that woman listening to the horse shit coming out her mouth. None of them agreed with it. You can see it. None of them agreed with her. Yet all of them stayed quiet. None of them said, shut up, you ain't making sense. It's patriarchy. None of them would do that. None of them will do that. Because the incessant need to be right is that overwhelmingly strong. This is why we don't approach. This is why we don't talk to you. This is why we don't ask you out. This is why we leave y'all alone, ladies. Y'all are the benefit we get from interacting with you is not worth it. What are we gonna get? We're gonna get some used box that you done gave to anywhere from 25 to upwards of 350, 500 people. Y'all done had 1 to 5 kids fall out your body by 1 to 5 dudes. Sometimes it's more than 5 kids, and sometimes it's more than 5 dudes. What are y'all bringing to the table that makes y'all worth this headache of communication? We can't even communicate with y'all effectively. We can't even ask y'all a simple question and get a simple answer. We can't even meet you for the first time without you finding something to demean about our appearance, about our clothes, about our hair, about the hat we wear, about our shoes, about our height, about anything, any and everything y'all can find a reason to demean us about, y'all demean us about it. But all you hear is, why don't men approach us? Why don't men approach us? I just laid out the case succinctly, ladies. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. With that said, I'm gonna wrap this up right here. Try to keep it short and sweet this time. I assembled these clips from various places. I'm gonna go ahead and attach these root videos I pulled these from in the description. Go over there and give them a like, give them a share, and give them a sub. And if you would, please give me a like, give me a share, and give me a sub. And I'll see you on the next one. Toodles!